U.S. President Donald Trump appears to be dropping his fight over releasing all of the Epstein files. It's a fight that has had Trump battling some of his own Republican lawmakers in Congress and pushing back against demands from some of his most fervent supporters in his MAGA political base. The CBC's Katie Nicholson is on the story for us in Washington. So, Katie, what might be behind Trump's sudden about-face?
Well, Trump had been calling all of this the Epstein hoax, as we have been reporting over the last couple of weeks, this push for this bill in the House, even saying Republicans who fall for it were bad. But all indications from Capitol Hill watchers and several Republicans who did interviews over the weekend is that this measure is going to pass handily in the House, possibly even into veto-proof territory. That's a 2/3 majority. Predictions vary. So last night, Trump posted on social media this message. As I said on Friday night, aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetuated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party. He also spoke just recently within the hour at the Oval Office, and he was asked again about this and what he might do if it were to pass the Senate. Does he want to see this go through the Senate as well? And would he sign it into law? Here's a little bit of his answer.
They can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because, honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
So, Andrew, of course, as we have reported, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, they had a very long-standing friendship that started to sour about 2004, sometime in the early 2000s. So just on that point, a quick little fact check there. Now, the House vote is expected as early as tomorrow. Nothing scheduled in the Senate yet. John Thune, the majority leader, hasn't really committed to a vote yet. And, there is this question that's looming, even though the president has been asked about it, right? If it passes, and it does end up on Donald Trump's sort of desk to sign, will he sign it? He seems to be indicating sure. But certainly if he doesn't, he would be facing quite a lot of questions, especially from his own base.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so Epstein's survivors are also making another push to get the files released. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so some survivors released a video with World Without Exploitation. That's an anti-trafficking group. It started to go up yesterday. We've got a little bit of it there, encouraging people to really call their Congress people to push to release the Epstein files. Just a little bit of that ad rolling there. Jack Scarola, he's a lawyer representing some of the victims. He explains why they've been calling for the files to be released.
They are pleased that there is a groundswell of support for getting answers to the questions that they have been asking for over a decade and a half. And they deserve those answers. So the victims are the survivors of the Epstein, Maxwell patterns of child abuse. They are encouraged by the fact that we seem to be on the verge of asking the right questions of the right people.
Now, it's not really known how many victims there are of Jeffrey Epstein, but the estimates are at about 1,000. And just so you understand, like the Epstein Files Transparency Act, this act, it would force the Department of Justice to make public all of the unclassified records, documents, communications, all these investigative materials and evidence related to its investigation and prosecution of Jeffrey Epstein. That's what the survivors are looking for. That's where they're hoping to find answers to who knew what when, and so try to follow the ball on some of the complaints that they said that they made to police over the years.
Is the CBC's Katie Nicholson live in Washington.